Please take your seats. The meeting is about to begin. Remember to speak into the microphone, as this meeting is being recorded for public record. Please stand by. We are going on air in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the February 10th meeting of the Miami Beach Historic Preservation Board. I'm John Stewart. I'm the chair of the board, and I am delighted to hand the first order of business over to Michael Belush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just for everybody's knowledge, before we begin some updates to the agenda, I'd like to let Justin here let the audience know how they may participate on Zoom today, and also read the notice regarding lobbyist registration.
Thank you. Good morning. Today's meeting of the Historic Preservation Board is being conducted in a hybrid format with a quorum of the board physically present in the commission chambers at Miami Beach City Hall, and applicants, staff, and members of the public appearing either in person or virtually via Zoom. Those wishing to participate in today's meeting via Zoom may dial the toll-free number, which is 888-475-4499, and enter the webinar ID, which is 817-4834-7488#, or log into the Zoom app and enter the webinar ID, which again is 817-4834-7488. Individuals wishing to speak on an item must click the raise hand icon if they are using the Zoom app, or dial *9 if they are participating by phone. Before I swear in those who are testifying, I'm going to read into the record the city's notice regarding lobbyist registration. If you are appearing on behalf of a business, a corporation, or another person, including as an architect, attorney, or representative of an applicant or an objector, you need to register as a lobbyist with the city clerk's office before you speak to the board. You do not have to register if you are speaking only on behalf of yourself and not any other party, you are testifying as an expert witness, providing only scientific, technical, or other specialized information or testimony in this public meeting, or you are appearing as a representative of a neighborhood association without any compensation for your appearance to express support for or opposition to any item. Expert witnesses and neighborhood association representatives shall, prior to appearing, disclose in writing to the city clerk their name, address, and the principal on whose behalf they are communicating. These rules apply whether you are appearing in favor of or against an item, or encouraging or arguing against its passage, defeat, modification, or continuance. I will now swear in everyone who is physically present in the commission chambers and intends to testify. Virtual speakers will need to be sworn in one by one before addressing the board. So if you will be testifying, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will be giving is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
So just for everybody's awareness, we do have 6 of 7 members present today. Haskell Meyer could not attend the meeting. And before the meeting today, the applicant has deferred the fountain bill application. What that means, this is a one-time deferral. Their applicant is allowed, as of right, a one-time deferral. They pay a fee, and this is deferred to a future date. This means that the application will be fully renoticed by newspaper. Anybody receiving notice previously will get a new notice for the new date. At this point, the students can come back, would be the May meeting or June meeting. But today, there will be no discussion of the Fontainebleau. A deferment is as of right. There's no board discussion. The applicant does not speak. There's no public comment on the request for deferment. It's been done. The application cannot be heard today with the deferment. So I would suggest that we pause the meeting to allow the room to clear, and then continue with the rest of the agenda.
Thank you.
PJ, if we can pause the meeting.
All right. Next, we have the approval of minutes. And we may have a couple of minutes to approve.
Sure, so this is the approval of the December 16, 2025 minutes. Just to note, the January meeting was canceled, and that was because all the items on the agenda were requests for continuances. So to have a board meeting set and everybody come in for, just to continue the applications, the chair decided just to cancel the meeting, avoid the delay, because with the cancellation of the meeting, everything is continued to the next available agenda, which was today's meeting. So at this point, we're asking for approval of the minutes from the December 16, 2025 meeting date.
I move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? It's approved 6-0. Just for the notice of business, we're going to move the election of chair and vice chair to next month's meeting because Haskell Meyer was reappointed, but he could not attend today. So next month, we'll have everybody with John Stewart in attendance, and we may have actually a position, someone to fill his position. So I feel it's appropriate to move the election of chair and vice chair to next month's meeting. Now, we do have a request next for continuance. This is for HPB 25-0656, 1600 Washington Avenue, 425 16th Street, and 1601 Drexel Avenue. The board may remember this was first before you last November, continued till January, continued till today because of the cancellation meeting. I've been meeting with the applicant since Christmas, and they've failed to address the concerns of the board, which is why we're asking for another continuance. At this point, let me see, is the applicant here for 1600 Washington Avenue? I believe they're asking for a continuance till the, let me see. Give me 1 second.
It says automatically continue to 113.
That was the
was
previous,
previously, yeah.
It was continued from the
113,
November.
yeah.
Sorry, it should be automatically continued from the 113 meeting to today's meeting. But I think the applicant's requesting a continuance till the April meeting. Let me see, just a second. What's the date? Just a second. Continue, the request, let's continue this to the April 14th meeting.
I have a question for the city attorney. Nick? How many times can an applicant continue an item? Is there a limit?
Well, the deferral that you saw with the Fountain Blue application, that's one time. How many times can the board continue an application?
No. An applicant continue their application.
The only way for an applicant to continue an application on their own is to pay the one-time deferral, which is what you saw with the first application on today's agenda.
So I'm,
Everything other than that would require the board to vote to grant the continuance.
but can an applicant repeatedly seek a continuance?
Yes, although I think there is a time limit.
There's a maximum of 120 days between continuances.
Okay, thank you. So I would move to continue this item until, did you say the April meeting?
April meeting, correct, yes. But they have been working in good faith to address the concerns of the board, and that's why I think if I told them they were okay, they could have come before the meeting, next month, but they're still not there.
I'll second that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that application has been continued to the April 14th meeting. And then we'll proceed with the first item on the agenda for regular approval is HPB 25-0684. This is 833 6th Street, Fire Station Number 1. And I'll read a brief introduction to the application, and then the applicant will give their presentation, and there'll be time for public comment. So again, this is HPB 25-0684, 833 6th Street. This is for the property, for the site of the South Shore Community Center. The current application is to reestablish the Historic Preservation Board approvals for the demolition of the South Shore Community Center, the construction of the new fire station, and the installation of the previously approved Apollo mural. These approvals were originally granted by the board in 2022 and 2023, but were not implemented due to a city commission decision to pursue an alternate location site in Flamingo Park. And following subsequent city commission direction to proceed again in the site, the project has been resubmitted for reapproval. Now, the existing South Shore Community Center has been determined previously by the board to be non-contributing in the Flamingo Park Historic District and could not be reasonably adapted to meet the operational, security, and resiliency requirements of a modern municipal fire station. Now, there is a separate and ongoing designation process for the South Shore Community Center, which was initiated last year. That process has not been completed and is independent of the current application. This project does respond to the prior board's concerns and approvals through the incorporation of select architectural elements from the existing building, improved pedestrian engagement along 6th Street, and the integration of the significant public art through the Apollo mural. Now, I would note that the HPB's direct action on demolition is advisory in nature, as final approval does rest with the City Commission. The City Commission has the ultimate authority to approve or deny demolition for government-owned parcels. Based on the project history, prior board approvals and actions, and incorporation of historic design elements, and continued public benefit associated with the installation of the Apollo mural, staff recommends that the board provide an advisory recommendation in support of the demolition and approve the certificate of appropriateness for the new fire station and mural installation. With that, I'll turn it over to the city for the presentation.
Before you do your presentation, are there any questions for the staff about this? No? Okay. No? All right. Thank you.
Good morning. David Gomez, Director of the Office of Capital Improvement Projects. It is my pleasure to be here before you today. Unfortunately, Michael stole everything I was going to say. As he mentioned, the project did receive approvals in 2022 and 2023. Because of direction of the commission to look at alternate sites, we abandoned that application or that permit. We even had the permit in hand at that point to look at an alternate site. As of December, the commission asked us to come back to the original location, which is this one. And we're here before you to seek approval of the original approved plan so that we can move forward with that construction. And with that, I'd like to ask Jason Jensen of Wanamaker Jensen to walk us through the presentation.
Thank you. Glad to be back again. The project that we've been working on for quite some time. And actually, just to add on to that, since that time, this project was actually awarded a state design award, specifically in the area of resiliency and sustainability. So excited to implement that. It will be the most resilient fire station in the city. It'll be the only location that you can actually keep apparatus on the island. So that adds a tremendous amount of value to the fire department. Going back through this proposal, obviously location falls right in between two different historic districts with Ocean Beach and Flamingo Park, right on the edge. Characteristics within the neighborhood, we obviously analyzed some of the contributing factors within the neighborhood, but most of the references are directly from the site that we are using for our building. From a site plan standpoint, this is the existing site. You see the location in dark gray of the existing building, the parking and the access to the alley that is all existing. And some of those alley access we are remaining in place for the new project. This is an overlay that shows you the fire station in green with the dashed red line and its location in the center of the site. It has two ramps on either side that allow you to raise that elevation, so get the apparatus out of the floodplain, and that allows some parking to happen below the building as well. So we're able to get all of the parking needed for the station and then maintain some of the existing parking behind the station as well. The areas in green indicate parts of the existing building that are going to remain. So we didn't only replicate, but we actually are maintaining artifacts from the original building, which I think is adds to that street level experience, and that remembrance when you're on 6th Street of that original walk will be maintained and enhanced along that path. This shows the access. We are making sure that we maintain the turning radiuses for all of the city vehicles throughout the site and to the alleys. And going specifically into the design elements, some of the details that are going to remain, we have some board-on-board detailing for the concrete stair railings that's going to be reimagined within the new building. We have stacked bond, we have the planters, a lot of these individual elements that we are maintaining or relocating within the new site. Some of the, this is highlighting one of the planters. There are multiple planters along that row. I think that is really one of the contributors to the walking experience. So we're paying lots of attention to keeping that. And that will also go into the construction of protecting some of those elements in construction as well. Some of the structural elements with the structural, the double T's and how that's being held, those are going to remain on site. We're actually going to relocate one of those and make a shelter out of that structure. And then in the rear, you can see some of the stack bond. We're going to use stack bond within the new structure and some of those unique planters. Some of the shadow box, folding, concrete detailing, we're going to use that again in the same way to highlight the entry and highlight some of the window structures. And here you see in the renderings, some of those either relocated or maintained planters and the entry structure. But on the left, in that structure, we're actually making a pavilion and a pocket park essentially on 6th Street. So that's an opportunity that we can continue to develop with information about the original structure, but also potentially about the department. I think that is a community process, but we have some seating and some landscape that is going to buffer that area on the left particularly. Some of the materials being used, the brise-soleil, the planters, pavers, the stack bond is a ground face stack bond, so it doesn't need to be painted in the future, repainted. One of our sustainability factors. All of the any mechanical is going to be hidden from the neighborhood. And the one new aspect is the red fire doors. For that, another unique aspect is on the ground level, there's a perforated art piece integrated into the station as part of the entry sequence. That also shields any of the parking below the building so that you don't see that from the street. From a water standpoint, we have 5 deep wells on site. We're vastly improving the water treatment on site, vastly improving the landscape on site. Currently you don't have any of that, so after this is completed, we will have a much better treatment of water and capture of water on site. Enhancing some of that landscape along 6th. You see some of the detailing in the stairs. You see how the shadow box around the entry is enhancing in a similar way to the original building, focusing on the entry into the elevators, and then that stair on the left-hand side, and the shadow box increases over the stair on the upper level as well to enhance and capture those windows. See, you're looking to the northeast at this view, up 6th. And to the left, you see that pocket park where we're reestablishing that entry and recapturing some of those details. Through the entry, you see that perforated material that hides any visibility of front to the parking lot. Some bike parking. The final entry. Some of the signage we're holding and capturing single letters with the signage on the brise-soleil. And then this is looking southeast. So this is from Jefferson, and then highlighting to the left doesn't really capture the full view until you see the Apollo on it. But since these are two applicants, we'll show you, get deeper into the Apollo mural in a minute. And this is a bird's eye view from Meridian. If you were in behind the building, we are not, there was a conscious effort to not be the back of the building, so we're looking to treat the building from all sides, so we're using stacked bond again in the back, and then you see some of the access to the parking below. Bird's eye view of the whole site, and the front view. So I'm just going to go right into the Apollo mural, since these are originally two different applications. We're excited as a team to be able to capture this. The size of the Apollo mural happens to be almost exactly the size of this building. So it was almost like it was meant to be relocated to this site. So looking back at the history of Jack Stewart, accomplished mural artist, he actually invented new techniques for stained glass and mosaics, and I think that has allowed his work to really endure, and both physically and visually over the test of time. He was a Yale graduate, also went to Columbia. He's worked in many different mediums, but obviously mural was his highlight. And obviously there's meaning between the Apollo and running the chariot through this site, and the spacing and all of the original spacing and the sizing we're able to accommodate. So even though these are multiple pieces, we're able to suspend it as it was originally intended. So it will be on the Jefferson side, so it's on the north side. I think that's important because that you get north light versus south light, so it protects it a little bit more over time. And we're suspending it in front of the system, so as it was originally suspended. So we have a frame system, essentially a perforated backdrop to it, so we get a nice clean. We still do need to have some windows on that facade for the interior spaces, but we put the perforation to give us a clean slate backdrop for it. We stand it off of the windows, and then we have a lighting system that's going to come in front of that to make sure that it is seen properly in the evening. I think that will actually be the best time to see it. It's really fantastic in this. And the elevation of it, you will see it as you drive down near this location, so it will have that elevated experience. The final sunset view. So that concludes our application. I think we're excited to bring this project back to life. I think there's a lot of effort gone with the board in the past to make tweaks and additions to this. They were made both in the landscape. We revised the railing detail. We incorporated some of those original materials, and then capturing some of those original building elements were all things that you all brought to the table. We in the city implemented, and proud of the outcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any, well, before there are questions for the applicant, I think there's a comment you'd like to make that will amplify the application for us, and then we can have questions for the applicant.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I've cleared this with staff. I'd just like to make a little presentation on Jack Stewart's Apollo mural. Apollo driving his sun chariot across the sky. On the right, and you'll see images in my when I get into the media presentation, a short media presentation. On the right side is Latonia and her twins, Artemis and Apollo, and then to the left of them, then you see Apollo riding his sun chariot to see his sister, the goddess Artemis, did I say that right?
Artemis.
Artemis. Artemis is the goddess of the moon, women. She was fiercely independent, celebrated a life of chastity. And it really tells quite a story. Jack Stewart, as was mentioned, an educator, a scholar, a muralist, a painter, an author. One of his books, Graffiti Kings, released in the 70s, is still in reprint, and it's become the Bible to people who appreciate that graffiti. And the presentation that'll appear in a few moments is
Scott, it's
of.
your neighborhood. What's the neighborhood feeling at this point?
Hold on, please. I recognize that voice. The presentation is a conversation. Actually, it was a committee meeting of the Geo Bond Oversight Advisory Committee from 2023 of city officials. We have the chairwoman, Karen Revo, the former fire chief, Virgil Fernandez, the assistant city manager, Maria Hernandez, the neighborhoods coordinator, Lauren Fertel, makes an appearance, and Scott Needleman, formerly who served on the Geo Bond Committee. Now he's a planning board member. He also is the chairman of the Flamingo Park Neighborhood Association. And on a side note, we happen to share the same birthday. So, PJ, if you can roll that presentation.
You're going to
please.
leave us hanging when your birthday is?
Well, you'll find
Oh,
out.
I'll find out. Okay, all right. Don't.
What's the neighborhood feeling at this point?
Well, I think you hear there's plenty of people that are looking forward to a new state-of-the-art fire station going in, and then there's the people that, don't want to see the existing building go away. So still mixed. It may change a little bit because at the July HPB meeting, the fire station is going in front again for the mural that's going to go on I guess it's the west elevation, and I did see a rendering of that. And it really looks, it really, really looks nice. And I think it's going to be a terrific addition to the fire station. And I think that will hopefully get some people to maybe lessen their animosity towards what's happening.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I can tell you that we're equally as excited. I've had some conversations with Mitch, and, to the extent that the outer shell of the building can accommodate anything that the neighborhood wants, I'm glad. I know he brought it up, and at one time, I think he thought it may have been taken as a joke, but we were pretty serious about including it as part of the station, and then Maria got to work. So I think it'll be a good addition, and I think it'll be something that the community can be proud of.
Maria, you want to just tell them, or somebody tell them just in
Sure,
case?
I can speak a little bit about it. Mitch Novick and I were talking about this mural since we started the convention center way back in 2014 or 15. It's called the Apollo mural, and it is the god of, I think it was the god of fire, or ironically, or the sun or something. But the mural was on a historic building that Faena purchased. For one reason or another, it got taken down and it was going to be discarded, but the developer kept it and has donated it to the city and has also agreed to pay the majority of the costs, if not all of the costs, to actually refurbish it and put it somewhere. So for years, we looked for a place, and it's huge. It doesn't just fit anywhere. It's 100 feet long and 17 foot tall, and we looked and looked and couldn't find any place. And then I don't even remember how it was that we thought, well, what about the fire station? And lo and behold, number one, it's in a historic district, and it is a historic mural. And the artist was known by Mitch, and the widow of the artist is a very nice lady that wanted this thing to get saved. And so Rosa Lowinger, who is the conservator, was able to refurbish it off-site. And we've been able to save this thing and put it on the facade of the building. And ironically enough, it's going to be on the facade that is facing one of Mitch Novick's buildings. It's crazy. that it even ended up there, but it just did. And the fire department loved it when we showed it to them. So it's a win-win. It's really a community win-win. The preservationists win-win. The art people win. It's a win for everybody. So we're really happy to have made it happen. And it took a lot of departments, tourism, culture, David's department. I know that Colette Satchel has struggled with this thing structurally to put it on the building and get it up there. But it's going to go in front of HPB. So let's see what they think. But it's really it's a great story once it's all put together.
And I think I saw Lauren. Were you trying to show us a picture of it?
Yes, Colette and I met with Mitch Novick yesterday just to touch base about it. It is a very cool story, and it is cool to see it
I love it that we
together.
Preserve some of these kind of things.
Ms. Revo, not to beat up on this anymore, but I did Google him real quick, and he's been recognized as a god of archery, music and dance, truth and prophecy, healing and disease, which I think is pretty appropriate, the son of light, poetry, and more. That's
my.
all-around guy.
That just sums up everybody in Miami Beach. It's great. Thank you. Thank you. Scott, it's your neighborhood. What's the neighborhood feeling at this point?
Well, I think you hear there's
PJ, that's it. Thank you. All right.
All right. Thank you very much. So I think that kind of concluded the presentation. But if we have questions for the applicant, maybe I don't know if anybody has one. I definitely had one, but go ahead, Mitch.
Two questions. David, you mentioned you had the permit in hand. Is that permit still active?
We have reinstated the building permits and dorm permits.
Okay, that's good to hear. And the architect, you've mentioned a few times you're maintaining and relocating. Does that imply replication?
Some elements are kept in place. The entry
Yes,
piece is being relocated. So the planters are being kept predominantly in place. A couple where we are adding new planters, we're going to match the original.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Ray?
Well, I'm the only member of this board that was there in 2022 that voted for this proposal. I thought it was fabulous then. I think it's fabulous now. And I certainly hope our fellow board members here agree. We're 4 years behind and probably a lot of dollars. But a lot of the people were concerned about losing the rec center. And remember, there was a 21st Street rec center that was taken down so that we could build a ballroom for the convention center. And all of those services got relocated. Everybody's happy with where they are now. And the same thing is going to happen here. And I just want everybody to realize that. Yes, things can't happen immediately, but they will happen in the long run, and everything will be better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Elizabeth?
No,
And
I
then
was
Mitch.
just going to continue John's question. Would you mind going over again which pieces are going to be maintained exactly in the same place and which are going to be relocated and what's going to be replicated? Because there is a little bit of everything. It's just so we can have a clear understanding.
Correct. If they could bring back up the presentation. Just give me a second to move back. Okay, so the piece on the right is being maintained, that's existing. So that-
Can you use your cursor on the computer to help?
Okay.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
point to it.
There we
Okay,
go.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So this piece would be existing to remain. Planters that are within the center, those would be new, so those are not highlighted. And then this is a planter to remain. These planters remain as well. This piece is the vertical piece is relocated.
Could you show us where it's going to go?
On a
So-
rendering?
This is here, this piece. So the vertical piece.
So, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time. Can you tell me where that piece is in the site, the proposed site plan?
I think the confusion is that this is the proposed. Could you
Oh,
go back?
no,
Could you-
this is the, I
This is
thought
the
this was
proposed.
the
Yes.
existing.
Could you
Okay.
go
Oh,
back to
sorry,
the-
yes. Yeah. And so this is the the existing, and the only difference is, see where these red, that's where that piece exists now. So that canopy exists in this location now, so we're simply taking it from that piece and relocating to this. So that far,
Show the photo.
okay, let's see.
No, now I,
Okay, let's see.
now I understand, just moving
Okay,
to the side.
there you go. So to the left, this, the planters that are being maintained are just to the left of that. It's just, this made a lot more sense to just move it to in between the planters, and then it can be that essentially pavilion for that pocket park piece.
Thank you. And one more question. Could you go over the detail of the lighting above the mural?
Okay, yes. Okay, so this is a detail of that lighting. So the lighting would to get consistency with it and really highlight just the mural, it's coming directly off of the building with stanchions and then projecting back consistently to the mural from the face of the building. So from the top, it would come out and then come across the mural from the top.
How far out are those elements sticking in front of the support wall or element?
You happen to know that? I'll say approximately 3 feet.
No, because in the video that Mitch showed of the existing structure, there is like a frame on the top that there was like a gap, a recessed area between the frame and the mural, which if you could reproduce the same detail would be a great place to put the lighting, and then we wouldn't have those elements sticking in front of the mural. I'm not a lighting design expert, but I've seen things done this way, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to hide all that mass that may be created by having the light sticking out.
Okay, we'll certainly dig into the details for it. And I think our main concern, we want to make sure that we present it like properly so that the mosaic pieces at the evening, we want to make sure that light comes out far enough that they don't create such a shadow that it takes away from that. But we will absolutely dig into the details of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mitch, did you have a question?
Yeah.
And then,
We're advisory in nature, so what is your time frame? Even if we were to vote this down or, of course, approve it?
Without your approval, it would delay it a little bit. We would have to go back to commission for approval. We are looking at commencing the construction of the temporary daycare facility this summer and commencing construction at the South Shore Community Site end of this year, beginning of next.
That would be the demolition of the facility. And in terms of the construction of the new facility?
It's about 1.5 years. Once we start at the South Shore site, it's about 1.5 years.
Okay, so we're talking sometime in 2028?
2028.
Okay. A question regarding if the mural should need servicing, not to interfere with the fire equipment, the vehicles that would likely be transversing below. How will that be performed? Is there a ledge, or will it be somebody rappelling, or?
Well, so this station, two factors. The apparatus bays have doors on both sides, so they're drive-through, which is a real advantage for the department, but it also allows them to exit either side. So if you need to actually access one, you can access it from the ramp, and the ramp is level at that point. So the apparatus can come out of the bays and fully sit on the apron without significant slope. So vice versa, if you need to have a lift to access the mural, you have a flat surface to do so.
And the garage or the that facility, it's straight through. There's no demising wall between them.
Correct.
So I imagine that the vehicles would enter on Meridian and exit Jefferson, but that's not necessarily the case, right?
They have the option to go either direction, but that is the preferred turnout time, using the light and being able to move either direction.
Okay. I have some questions for the fire department if anyone's available.
Jake is back there.
What's that? They can recall.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Chief. Tell us about the new cycle lane that was added to Jefferson Avenue. How has that impacted you, if it has impacted your department at all?
Good morning, Chair, Madam Chair, and Fire Chief Dignabello. So the bike lane across the street from current Station 1 has made it quite challenging for our members to do a northbound or southbound exit. And I think we've been working with Jose from Transportation to make sure that at least the bollards in front of the fire station are not there, so we're not going over a 80,000-pound truck and destroying our axles. As far as the rest of the city, it's challenging in the sense that the bikers are not in the bike lane like they're supposed to be. So it defeats the purpose as to why it is that we have dedicated bike lanes, but as far as operations and, that aspect where.
All right. So has there been any talk of narrowing the cycle lanes so your trucks can?
Not that I'm aware of, at least not that's been proposed to me.
So it's highly unlikely that those spots that, as was mentioned, my residents enjoy today, they're going to be losing them.
Well, in the last.
Wait, I'm sorry, I'm not done. Unless the radius could be created within the setback of the property to make it easier for your vehicles to.
3 lanes.
So the last design that I saw before we flip-flopped to the other location, it didn't have a bike lane and there was no bike lane as far as the plans go. Because then, yes, you are right, it will have to eliminate the parking across the street in order to accommodate one or the other. We just can't, we don't have that. It's a 100-foot ladder before it exits out, 20-foot lanes.
Yeah. What about the possibility, being it is public, city property, government property, of altering and modifying the radii of that turn to make it easier for the vehicles to enter and exit?
We can absolutely look into that. We already have a very wide driveway that gives them a little bit more flexibility. But I think the easier solution is to just figure out how to not put in those barriers on the bike lane so that they don't have that issue, even if it's just for that stretch next to the fire station.
Okay.
So state statute regardless requires that the 20 feet in front of the fire station has no parking regardless. So regardless, my priority was always that whatever displacement of parking is being done, that we accommodate it at least in a different area.
And in full transparency, there will be some parking loss on the street. The advantage that this plan has is that under the current Fire Station 1, all of the firefighters are parking in the neighborhood. This plan provides parking within the site so that we free up that space on the street.
How many spots will be on site?
Approximately 30, 35? 34 spaces.
How many are utilized at any given?
12. So 12 is for a shift, and then in the morning, we just have a slight, maybe 20, 30-minute overlap with the other crews coming in. So 24.
Would it be inappropriate to have a discussion that doesn't necessarily need to be here for those properties surrounding the station that should lose the street parking, to be afforded the opportunity to perhaps park on-site at the facility, the new facility?
I think we're open to any discussion that will help the neighborhood and accommodate the neighborhood. The challenge we have on this site is because of the nature of the facility. We want to protect those vehicles as much as we can, and intermingling them makes that a little more difficult.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy?
Yeah, could you put the elevation of the mural on the new building up again, please? Prefer the date. Okay. I thought I saw it where you could actually see all the windows behind it and everything. Is there no way to create a screen that's more characteristic of the original flat? My concern is several, that you turn the lights on at nighttime in the rooms, and that's going to completely distort the look of the mural, unless the lighting overwhelms it on the outside. And the screening, today you can get so many options of screening. This looks like you can't, I thought I saw one of your elevations that looked like you actually could see all the activity behind it, which is not in character with the mural. It was never designed to be a floating mural in front of a windowed building. And I'm concerned it takes on a whole different character and reality versus artistic. There, you just passed it back.
I just wanted to go back one to
There was one where you could actually see all the windows and everything behind the mural. And I'm surprised you can't get a screen that is more.
So
that's just a punch hole screen, punch metal.
Right. We could, that's not a final, selection. So we can certainly continue to look at that. It is balancing having natural light into those windows, but maybe there's potentially a screen that the openings are more, up or like maybe directional. So we can certainly look into that.
Okay, I mean, I've seen a lot of screens where you really can't see through it. The surface of the screen takes over your eye versus what's behind the screen.
Right. You're correct, though. Like the light conditions, we want to put a lot of light in front of it.
Right.
For a lot of those same reasons. So we really want to project in front of it. But that's certainly something that we'll analyze and look even on site to finally make a final selection. But I think it's a good comment.
Okay, thank you. Can you put the site plan up again, the new site plan? I don't understand it very clearly. It's kind of a graphic. Yeah, that's hard to understand. Where's the Vest Pocket Park? I don't understand the plan well enough to understand where you say there's a park.
Okay, so these green areas, you have we've pushed the station back as far as we can, and we've tucked the ramps back, so where you come out of the doors, you have some space, and then you kind of push back to get a narrowing of those ramps when you actually get to Jefferson and Meridian. So that opens up some green space on the corners on each side. So those are the areas that we're putting a lot of emphasis into the plantings, to buffer the ramping, also to give some backdrop to those planters and where we're creating that new installation in the front.
It's a little deceiving when you say it's a Vest Pocket Park when I consider it just to be basically landscaping around the building. It's not a park you would go to. There's no grass. Your landscaping on your renderings is extremely dense.
The term pocket park is more of an urban term for, it does have seating, it does have some attraction to it, but it would be more of a respite along 6th than a
just
destination.
a side place to sit off the sidewalk.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Lindsay?
Well, I think my question was going to be for Chief, but she has stepped out. So she's coming back? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess my question, and Eric, I don't know if you can speak to this or not. I mean, is the fire department happy and ready to go with this? I mean, that's honestly my biggest concern at this point.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Eric
put you on
Troll
the
is
spot.
representing the Miami Beach firefighters, the union. I can tell you as far as the union body, all our firefighters were ecstatic that the commission voted unanimously to move this forward. So I could say on behalf of our membership, absolutely. And I think it's very beautiful also. Mitch, thank you for promoting the Apollo mural. Obviously, it's very fitting that it would, land at the fire station. Apollo being, the sun god, the god of medicine. And I have to take a point of personal privilege. I have to. This is my dog. His name is Apollo. So even though I'm away from him for 24 hours, I'll have, the idea of him, at the fire station. So thank you for, not letting that amazing piece of artwork, just get thrown away. So we're, as a membership, very excited to see it.
And so, Chief, my question.
Sorry, I was in the bathroom. I couldn't.
How dare you?
I know.
No, my question was really, are you guys happy with where we are with the design and the structure of it and all that? I know we've been waiting a long time for this. I just want to make sure that, where you guys stand.
No, absolutely. And it is a great opportunity to try to circle back and get this project going, so we can have a new home. And I am a total fan of the Apollo. I've been like, oh, maybe we can have like T-shirts and it can be, but I'll push it.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Mitch, another question?
Yeah, for the architect. The lighting that'll be projected onto the mural, what's the Kelvin temperature? That's my pet peeve, as my colleagues are beginning to realize.
Going straight to the technical, yeah, 3,500. So that definitely, it will be not just general lighting. It will be treated as a museum piece. So we'll be looking at that directly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important when we tell the lighting designer, it's not designed to be building lighting. It's designed to bring out the colors of the piece.
Okay, as long as, and I appreciate that you're aware of that. I think 35 could be appropriate or less, certainly not more than 3,500.
Glad I didn't say 4,000.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, it's a very relevant piece. Part of it can look completely different in the different light.
Yeah.
I had one last question. I was going to follow up on Randy's. Can you put the section up with the mural? Randy's question. Just where the, because you had two scales in that section. You had a close-up and a, yeah. So on the right side, the perforated screen, it's not, I guess that it's a 1/2 inch perforated metal. So that means how far are the perforations from one another? Do you have any idea about that?
There's two different conditions with that. You have the size of the holes, and then you have the size of the spacing between them.
Exactly.
Right.
So the spacing between them is what I'm asking about.
Yeah. I don't want to misspeak on that. I don't
Okay.
know exactly that it's, it's typically, less than the 1/2 inch. So if it's 1/2 inch, then it's 1/4 inch between, just depending on the punch apparatus.
So it's more dark than, more open than, is the sheet that's the background of the mural, 50% transparent?
Based on the comments today, I think we will reevaluate the 1/2 inch and reduce that to a smaller
I think that would be
condition. So I think based on the comments, we'll reevaluate that.
Okay, thank you. I do think that also for heat gain, it could also act as, if it's on the west facade, it could be very, it could help those offices behind it not gain heat in the afternoon when it's the hottest and the brightest sun.
Absolutely.
Okay, I had one other question. This is, because you mentioned you said 2 applications, I'm not sure that's actually accurate, so I was gonna see
Originally.
I understand, but I was just making sure that now it is one, and in the order, I was going to just make sure that in the order the mural is specifically addressed. It's not, I just see the word mural. I didn't see in the order itself, or it says the murals. So I didn't know whether it should actually articulate the mural you're
Yes.
talking about?
Yes, it should. Let me make sure.
It's on, yeah, it's on page 206 of our order. D, 1D.
Yes, yes. I'll take a look and see, I'll take a look at the prior order on the mural.
Okay.
And see if we're missing anything, and I'll let
Yeah.
you know before we finalize the approval of this. with this
Okay,
application.
perfect. All right, great, thank you. Yeah, because we've spent so much time on a very specific mural that was saved thanks to a very specific human on May 8th birthday. With that, I thank you for your presentation. Are there any disclosures, board disclosures? Disclosures, I'll disclose that I was here since this began and on the last approval. So with Ray, and now I guess we open it to public. Yes, Lindsay.
I mean,
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I was involved in discussing with the previous fire chief about the prior project, and I've talked with Chief Abello about this project and its various iterations. So from a perspective of disclosure,
Yeah,
there's
I
that.
think that's what I was saying. Just as a disclosure, it's been a long history. And also on the Faena project as well. But are there any members of the public wishing to speak?
Hey.
Yes, here.
Roger Goldblatt, Miami Design Preservation League. 50 years ago, pretty much, we were set up to preserve and protect, which is probably why you'll understand that we stand in opposition to the demolition of the South Shore Community Center as a significant civic work by Morris Lapidus, whose influence helped shape Miami Beach's architectural identity. As an early and remarkable intact example of Lapidus's modernistic public architecture, the building represents a defining moment in the city's post-war evolution, when design was not only used to create ionic resort destinations, but also to elevate the everyday life of residents through ambitious civic investment. Its sculptural forms, human-scale modernism, and contextual relationship to the surrounding neighborhood embody principles that would later contribute to Miami Beach's international reputation. Demolition of this structure would constitute an irreversible loss of an architectural and culturally significant resource, eliminating a tangible link to Miami Beach's mid-century civic history and to one of the city's most influential designers. Preservation, by contrast, offers the opportunity for sensitive, adaptive reuse, allowing the South Shore Community Center to continue serving the public while honoring its architectural legacy, reinforcing neighborhood continuity and affirming Miami Beach's long-standing commitment to reimagining the historic built environment rather than replacing it. Another one bites the dust. MDPL does not take a position on the architectural design of the proposed new firehouse. However, we strongly support the continued efforts to ensure that the Apollo mural is permanently installed within a publicly accessible setting in Miami Beach, allowing this important cultural work to remain visible, protected, and integrated into the city's public realm. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else present like to speak?
Good morning. My name is Julie Isaacson. I reside at 850 15th Street. I am speaking as a resident, even though I am, full disclosure, involved with the Miami Design Preservation League Advocacy Committee. I'm 100% against the destruction of a building designed by prolific architect Morris Lapidus. We are already dealing with the loss of local jurisdiction for what happens to our historic building as deemed by the Florida State Legislature. It's a travesty to even consider tearing down this building, and I really want to go back one more and put a pinpoint on, we are fighting with the Florida State Legislature about saving our historic buildings, and for us to go and demolish one is a travesty. I honestly can't think of another word for it. The South Shore Community Center, Miami Beach, designed by the renowned architect Morris Lapidus, is an important example of his later, lesser-known works. Excuse me, I lost my page. less-known work reflecting postmodern and perhaps brutalist influences on its concrete forms and adaptation to social needs. Though it's not strictly a classic Art Deco building like many of others in the city, Lapidus created it in 1969 as a community hub, showcasing a departure from his famous hotel designs and highlighting urban development. And it really would be a serious shame to demolish the building. And I also want to add, aside from historic preservation, which is usually my main concern, it's a terrible spot for a firehouse. It doesn't have easy egress for quick response. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jeanette Dorfman, and I am a member of the Miami Design Preservation League. And I just want to reiterate the stance of the Miami Design Preservation League on our opposition of the demolition of this essentially intact building. It's one of the last few remaining examples of Morris Lapidus's public civic architectural design, which is supposed to be human scale. I'm even like surprised that I'm here. I know that we're not here to discuss the Fontainebleau, but we have such a limited amount of examples of Morris Lapidus buildings. And the fact that the city of Miami Beach, continues to have at least 4 to 5 unaltered examples of Morris Lapidus buildings, and we're just essentially going to, toss this one out is quite alarming to me. And as a lifelong resident, I really think that we need to continue to preserve what we can when we can, and I don't feel like this, as important as it is, and I understand the need for a fire station, I don't think that there's enough push for adaptive reuse in what I see as being designed in this fire station. I mean, we're keeping like planters in an entryway. It doesn't go far enough to preserve what we're trying to put forth into the world, that we honor our history, we honor our architects that fundamentally altered the landscape of Miami Beach. I would like to urge this honorable board to think of more creative ways to possibly tweak some more adaptive reuse in this design. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else here? Oh, yes.
Joe Manning, 30-year resident of Miami Beach, committed preservationist, as is everyone in my family here and abroad. I'm speaking as a private citizen, even though I am on the board of the Miami Design Preservation League. I was for 6 years plus a member of this board. And John, could you help me out? I remember, we sat next to each other.
Yes, we did.
I remember when the Faena project came around. There was never any talk of discarding that mural. Never. But we didn't ask the Faena people to put it in writing. But we were never going to discard it. Somebody in Mitch's presentation said it was going to be discarded. No. I mean, I know I'm getting old and my memory is fading, but I remember this clearly. Can you help me out?
You were my mentor, and I sat next to you, and you helped me through those first days when Faena came through. So thank you for that, Joe. So no, I that's my memory as well. I'd have to go back to watch the tapes, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And there are so many places this mural could be put. It doesn't have to be put in the fire department. And to me, there are two issues here, and I want to make that clear. I respect and admire the fire department and firefighters. They are dedicated to saving the lives of people and their homes. There is no question about that. But there are two separate issues here, and one of them is the preservation of historic property. And please give me enough time to talk about this, because one of the things that broke my heart when we were on the Historic Preservation Board was the demolition of 42 Star Island. That should never have happened. That was the first licensed architect in Miami Beach, Walter DeGarmo. Destroyed. No reason for that. Absolutely none. It was in solid shape. It was a fine example of an historic building. I live in an historic building, a 1937 hotel. We do our best to maintain it, to keep it going. We just had a 40-year recertification. It was repainted. The city has appreciated what we have done, and we appreciate living there. You cannot keep destroying these buildings. It's wanton destruction. And yes, it's a different kind of Morris Lapidus building. That doesn't take anything away from it. We have to work hard to keep this. And I still think there are better places for the fire department. I really do. And the other issue is the community. At one of the previous meetings, someone said the people in the community could not appear for
Can I
these
give you
meetings.
one more minute? Is that,
Yeah.
would that help you? Okay.
That they could not appear at these meetings. The people, I personally know people who rely on that center for one thing, daycare, but for other reasons as well. And just because they can't show up as the people showed up for the Fontainebleau, because they're working, is no reason to discard what they might think. I think they have to be communicated with again, because I think that's important too. You can't tear away the fabric of our city like this. I mean, it's a community, we're residents, we count, we vote, we pay taxes. I don't want to be that crass, and the Historic Preservation Board has to preserve historic preservation. Otherwise, I hate to say it, it's not the Historic Preservation Board. It's the we are playing at Historic Preservation Board, and that's a disgrace. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody online who'd like to weigh in?
Yes, we have several callers online with their hand raised.
Okay.
The first is Susanna Santoro.
Susanna, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I swear.
Thank you. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, Chair, for the record, I understand the item of the Fontainebleau is not being heard today, and my comment is limited to process in general. A variance is discretionary, is an exception, not an entitlement. Where a request presents clear and repeated concerns regarding public safety, emergency response, traffic congestion, and infrastructure capacity, it is appropriate to question why
Ma'am, Do
continued
you have a
accommodations is being
about-
extended at all. This is a general comment, it's not specific to this Fontainebleau, as I said at the beginning. So repeated continuances and last-minute deferrals require residences to repeatedly rely on notice hearings, and accommodating a private applicant without timely public notice creates the appearance that public participation is secondary, undermining transparency, due process, and public trust. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next caller is Johan Moore.
Johan, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You have 2
morning.
minutes.
Thank you. Good morning, board members. I will urgently echo Susanna's comment about process, and I will pick up, though, where Miami Design Preservation League left off in complete support of their comments. The reason we're here today, figuratively speaking, where we are is because of the arrogant self-entitlement of the South of Fifth neighborhood that, while it has welcomed skyscrapers and all sorts of demolition of historic structures over recent years, was unwilling to host its fair share of urban heavy, municipal heavy infrastructure. That being said, the building design is attractive. Thank you, Mitch, for advocating for the mural, while there may in fact be other places where it could well go. Sitting in storage for years more while we search for that location is not a good idea. I want to ask a couple of practical questions, namely if the 5 deep wells that were referenced are essentially retention basins that will then slowly, after the rainfall event is over, release that water into our on-beach aquifer, parenthetically, for those who don't know, not for drinking water. And the other question revolves around the design elements, can you in fact somehow incorporate more design elements from the existing building, in particular retaining those elements? I would close by saying that there is a bit of a crisis of trust as a result of the Commission's flip-flop on protecting the South Shore Community Center, but also as we anticipate 1600 and Washington Avenue, there is a bit of lack of public trust in this board, and we ask that you consider that as you move forward with this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next caller is Andres Sacion.
Andres, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. It hurts me so much to see an amazing piece of real estate being lost worth millions instead of adding an amazing piece of real estate onto our beautiful city. That mural, which is the Apollo mural, which Mitch, great job for putting this into the fire station, could have been facing the running track on the park. The 11th Street and Alton Road site, that was a very good option, which would have been fantastic for the firefighters because the current fire station is currently on 11th Street currently as well now. And those firefighters use the track, they use the pool, they use all that as part of training. It's sort of like becoming part of a campus versus now having a site in the middle of a residential neighborhood that, of course, many of the people who live there are low income and depend on that community center, which I've been to many times. Love seeing everybody in that community center, all the elderly folks that are there daily, as well as the daycare as well. And so, it is what it is, but I'll tell you that you had a few people come out and protest about the track being disturbed during this project. And those people seem to have had a louder voice than all the people who can't go and protest because they're out working, that now are going to have fire trucks in the middle of a residential neighborhood instead of coming out into a commercial street like Alton Road. I would also like to understand why the fire station was revised when it was pitched to the city on Alton Road and added a 911 dispatch center, making the fire station look bigger. And I don't see that being done here on this rendering of the fire station on 6th Street. So I would love to understand why that happened. But I'm sorry to see this piece of property being lost.
Thank you. Thank you, Andres.
Next caller is Matthew.
Matthew, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good morning. Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Matthew Goltanoff, and I live at 125 Jefferson Avenue. I'd like to offer a different perspective. I share the same frustration with many on how long this process has taken, and I'm not here to rehash the long-standing controversies about the site, location, whether the existing Morris Lapidus building is contributing or whether it should be demolished. Instead, I want to focus on the design itself and whether, in this case, form is following function or function is being forced to follow form. A 2015 report showed that roughly 75% of Miami Beach Fire Department calls were medical emergencies, while about 0.5% were actual structure fires, with an overall 25% being fire calls. In many cities, that reality has led to smaller, faster, medical first response vehicles like SUVs that move more effectively through dense, congested streets, with larger units following only when necessary. And yet, over the years, the same large drive-through station concept before you today has felt non-negotiable, essentially copy-pasted throughout South Beach as other locations were considered. And to be candid, it looks less like a neighborhood fire station and more like an airport fire rescue facility that belongs at a large international airport. So my first suggestion is simple. Reconsider the unprecedented drive-through design feature. That single choice dictates the massing, circulation, footprint, and overall scale. And I urge the city and fire department to take a more data-driven, flexible approach that right-sizes the design and apparatus choices to fit the historic district and South Beach neighborhood it serves. Doing so could improve the outcome for all stakeholders, area residents, the general public, firefighters, and patients. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next caller is Daniel Seraldo.
Daniel, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you so much. With all the discussion, Daniel Serraldo, 730 10th Street. With all the discussion of the Apollo mural and how it was saved, one party has been systematically left out, both today and in recent hearings. And I'm here to place this history for the record because actions speak louder than words, and nobody has mentioned this so far. When MDPL brought up the Apollo mural and the desire to save it, Mitch Novak was on the MDPL Advocacy Committee, and he took a lead on this initiative. Mitch is now in the MDPL seat of the Historic Preservation Board. Mitch did a lot to help raise awareness, but the bigger challenge, where to store a monumental mural post-demolition. MDPL and I, as former executive director, personally worked to find a location to store the murals at no charge for several years while the plan for the restoration and funding materialized. Check my public Facebook profile from May 27, 2021 for the picture of me and Brandy Reddick at a top secret location in Miami during the pandemic, out in the yard with the pieces of the Apollo murals there on the ground. They were stripped and heavily damaged. I also want to mention the wonderful Rosa Lounger and her creative restoration made a difference. I was honored to go visit the murals when they were under restoration at Bakehouse, along with Mitch and Andres Viglucci from the Miami Herald. And so I want the record to reflect MDPL's instrumental role in the advocacy for this mural. And also let us not forget other monumental murals remain in storage, the Enzo Gallo murals that were on the bank at Alton and Lincoln. And if the chair would just give me one more minute to wrap up, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
In the future, let us please lift up all of those who are part of this and other efforts, not diminish them. Just because MDPL might not be advocating right now during their transition like they used to doesn't mean that all of the hard work should be erased from the record. So I would like to encourage a prominent plaque that mentions all the groups that were involved in saving the Apollo mural. It was truly a team effort, and it should not be discarded. And finally, I want to congratulate the fire department. Their effective advocacy led to this building being demolished when just last year it was going to be saved. It is proof that effective advocacy matters. Someone should have been at the commission meeting last month to fight for the building. Someone should have spoken up. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Okay, last caller in line is Meg Lusteau.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
She just texted me.
Meg, are you there?
Who's that? Meg.
Can we go back to her? Can we go to the next person?
Am I live now?
There you are, yes.
Okay, sorry.
Do you swear to
Hi.
tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you. Hi, I'm Meg Lusteau. I am the new executive director of the Miami Design Preservation League, proudly so. And although I have only been a resident of Miami Beach for 3 short months, I have been involved in preservation for 30 years. So I'm speaking more now to the power of preservation and its importance in community identity, community building, the importance of adaptive reuse. As far as this incredible building goes, this Lapidus designed South Shore Community Center, I just want to harken back to something that Roger Goldblatt read from our official statement about this building, what it represents, a defining moment in the city's post-war evolution, when design was not only used to create iconic resort destinations, but also to elevate the everyday life of residents through ambitious civic investment. That's the part that really speaks to me when I look at this building and when I look at its surroundings. This is a community center, and in a lot of cases, community centers are just, they're places where people gather, but Lapidus designed something that was truly elevatory of what this meant for the city of Miami Beach. And I, of course, fully support the fire department. I have seen firsthand many times what firefighters do and what they bring to communities and the safety and protection they offer. But I do, of course, concur that it's a real shame if we lose this building, one of the few Lapidus buildings remaining in Miami Beach. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, one last caller with the name just Miami Beach.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I swear to tell the truth. My name is Wanda Jamin, 8305 Crespi Boulevard. I'm calling in complete opposition to the demolition of the center. Going back to the vote, I want to make it clear to this board that we, the residents, did not know what was going on. This was supposed to be a discussion, not a vote. It was pulled by a commissioner at the last hour. Not even the commissioners knew what was going on. There was a lot of pressure by EMS, which I definitely support. But it was so much going on at one point that I didn't even understand what was going on. Again, this was called as a discussion, not as a resolution. It was last minute, a commissioner pulled it out. The mayor called it in for a vote, and this is how it happened. Maybe not. We could work something out, but please take that in consideration. And this is a great building. The commissioners had a great opening for the seniors there. I'm also a senior citizen, and to kind of bring our hopes up, and then from one second to the other, our dreams were thrown in the floor. Please consider. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our public comment.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like the applicant and maybe the architect to come back up because there are a few questions that the public raised that they don't ask you directly, but I think some of the questions might be of interest. I took the notes I took were, the first one was about the wells. Can you talk a little bit about how these wells are working on the site?
Those are injection wells, so they do take the stormwater, into the aquifer and filter. That is a very large dispersion within the aquifer before it gets to any other water source.
Okay, so what happens to the water after it, once the wells are filled? I don't actually know myself, so.
They have a certain capacity, a rate that they will allow water to occupy the injection well. So that's why we have 5. It's planned for a 100-year rain event. So in that 100-year rain event, it has capacity for that flow of rain on that particular site to stay on site and be inhabit those injection wells before dispersing into the neighborhood.
Okay, all right, thank you. So dispersing into the neighborhood, going into the storm
Right,
system.
if we did not have the injection wells planned for that up to that 100-year, currently it is being dispersed currently into the neighborhood.
Yeah, okay. And another one I had was maybe you want to comment on the question about the 911 dispatch facility?
When they asked, excuse me, when the commission asked us to look at the Flamingo Park site, they also asked us to look at including the 911 center at that site. The project does not have a budget, didn't have it for that site either. It was just exploratory to see what it would look like if it were there.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Also, maybe someone from the fire department would know about there was a question about the 911 calls and the percentage that are for public health versus fire. Thank you, Chief.
Good morning, Fire Chief Dignamello. Yeah, so there's a more clarification to the backstory on that. ISO and NFPA, which is the standards that we oblige by nationwide, requires that a certain amount of apparatuses, because of the amount of water that each apparatus has, which is 750 gallons, is needed in order to suppress a fire. So the reason why our trucks are as large as they are is because we have 750 gallons of water, and we have 3 trucks that are required by ISO ratings. So if we lose our ISO rating, then the adverse impact would be everyone's homeowner insurance is going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So
great.
The reality is that, yeah, our call volume for fires is not as high as medical, but you need 25 people to be at a fire to effectively manage the operation scene.
Understood. Thank you so much for that clarification. And I know in the order there's a plaque that's being included already about the building, and I was wondering if we could also think about including a plaque, because there's this other important historic element about, you know,
For the mural?
the mural as well. Yeah, that's what I'm not, obviously not voting on this. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to go through the public comment to make sure people realize that they've been heard. And yes, Lindsay, did you have something you wanted to add? Go ahead. Yeah? No. Anybody else?
Do you mean
Raised-
commentary in general?
Yes, what?
Commentary in general, or?
And yes, and I'm kind of in the commentary period for the board comment, but this is kind of the response, optional response by the applicants. So thank you guys very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
So what I was clarifying with staff, contrary to what you just said, we are voting.
It's advisory.
It's an advisory vote,
Of course
but
we're
we're
voting.
voting.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, but just not at that moment. I was only wondering whether we could, I was trying to set it out there. Yes, of course. But we weren't voting at that second. There's still board comment.
That's
And
fair.
we'll start with,
Just a lot of the comment that people made about they're acting like we're totally tearing down this building and saving nothing. A lot of the more dilapidous features were saved back in 2022 and again today. A lot of people talked about having this in a residential neighborhood. I mean, Fire Station 1 right now is in a residential neighborhood. And when it was built, we didn't think about all the cars and where people were going to park. The new one has parking for the firefighters. And also, all of South of Fifth didn't exist. So a firehouse closer to where the high-rises are and with the equipment that can handle these high-rises is important. And we've spent years trying to redevelop this. Everybody's like, not in my backyard. Well, what happens when there's finally a fire and your backyard burns down? Oh, gee, we should have had a new firehouse. It's time to really move it forward, and I appreciate everybody's comments, but I think that we've done a good job in 2022, and I think we're doing a good job now. Thank you.
thank you, Ray. Lindsay?
Yeah, so I mean, to that point, I think one of the things that we've not discussed, and I know this was brought up in the testimony when it was before the board back in 2022, our Chief Historic Preservation Officer, Debbie Tackett, testified that the fire station is critical to the health of our entire historic district. And making sure that we have a fire station that can, perform to the levels that it needs to in the area that it needs to is very important. I understand and appreciate where MDPL is on this issue. I do think that the prior board, the commission, the community, I think everyone's made efforts to the nth degree to try to solve this problem as best as it possibly could be done. And we're now 2018, guys, 2018. I, along with a majority of the residents in the city, voted for the GO bond, $72 million for public safety infrastructure, $10 million specifically to this project, $10 million specifically to Fire Station 1 in 2018. Now we're in 2026 and we've spent a lot of money and we still don't have a fire station. So, those are the things that I want to highlight that I don't think that we've brought up. It's the practical implications that we have to weigh against. I think anybody here would agree, preservation is an art, not a science, right? It's sometimes you have to make decisions that are harder than you might like to, and I'm sure we would all love to save every single building, but I, as a resident of Flamingo Park, I live in a 1930s Elmore Dixon building. If there's a fire, and actually we did have to call the fire not too long ago because we had smell of like electrical fire, and I will tell you, they responded immediately. Full force, the full fire truck, everything, because we don't know what that is. We don't know if there's a fire in the attic or if it's just something that smells funny. And so for that, they have to come and clear it. And I want that type of response in my building and every building around there, whether it's a historic building or whether it's one of the high-rise structures that we have in South of Fifth. I value the services that they're going to provide, and that is, really what focuses my decision. And to boot, Mitch, I do think you deserve a lot of credit, as does MDPL, on the Apollo mural. I'm really looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to it since before I was on this board. So thank you for that. Thank you for NDPL for, spearheading all of that. So those are my comments.
Thank you. Mitch, and then anybody else who wants to, Randy or Elizabeth, if you want to make a comment?
Okay, when this idea of demolishing the South Shore Community Center was first discussed, I was standing at the podium opposing it. That was when Jimmy Morales was our city manager, and I worried about the impact on my property immediately across the street, the disruption to my tenants, having to deal with sirens, vibration. And as this process progressed, we learned that the firefighters are living in a facility that's plagued with mold. Commissioner Fernandez used the term sewer flies, and it got me thinking. Public safety versus historic preservation. Those of you who know me, I can say my life is surrounded, was built on historic preservation. For myself in this city, I first got involved with MDPL in 1988, first as a tour guide, and then as the longest serving board member in the organization's history. Was it, I think, 1993 up until last year, continuous service. So again, back to that issue, public safety versus historic preservation. If there was a threat to the community, whether it be a building falling down, or in this case, a situation where our first responders are in a situation that certainly impacts or likely impacts their livelihood in terms of public safety, health-wise, mold, and sewer flies. I'm going to side with public safety in this matter. I might be the lone vote to save the center, but that's all politics because we are advisory. And this process, it was stifled a couple of years ago. The station would have been operating now, but as was referenced, the flip-flop, which who knows how much that cost us. Enough money has been wasted, and it's time to move forward.
Thank you. Any further comment? Randy, do you want to have anything to say? No? Elizabeth?
So I think I'm new in this process because I was not part of that historic past that all of you have thankfully highlighted and brought to the conversation. But a few things come to my mind, and I'm not sure how I place them at this point. But Mitch mentioned public safety versus historic preservation, and I'm not sure why does it need to be that? Why couldn't we have public safety and historic preservation? Ray mentioned that nobody wanted it on their backyard, so maybe that was a default location, and I'm not sure. This new design seems to fulfill a lot of the needs from the firefighter in our community, which makes me very happy about it, and also the fact that Apollo Mural is finding a new home. So I think all those are the win-win sides of this conversation. But on the other side, I question the location of the fire station within a very tight residential neighborhood and the streets being relatively narrow with the bikers and the parking and the residents. So I wonder if that's the right location of a fire station. The second thing that occurs to me is that we have those very large ramps on bringing the trucks up. And so those ramps are over 100 foot long and more than 12 feet high. So they are very significant ramps, and I think if we pay attention to the renderings, we can get a very good idea of the magnitude of those ramps. So I keep on thinking, it's a beautiful design. Congratulations to the architect who worked on that. I like the design, and I like the fact that they were able to use some of the elements of the existing building. But I question if that design pertains to that location. And those ramps, I think they will be perfect skateboard parts for the kids after hours, between the hours when nobody's looking at. And the sides of those ramps are covered in green walls, and green walls, we all know that they don't always work very well. So I'm concerned with the maintenance and the look of those green walls in the long run. So those are the things that have been running through my mind as I hear all this past history on this issue. Thank you.
Randy?
I wasn't going to say anything, but I fully support what you just said. I think that the ramps are unfortunate because you have to get the elevation so high that they're very inconsistent with the character of a residential neighborhood to have massive concrete ramps or asphalt. I assume they're concrete. They're over a garage, but it does nothing for a neighborhood to have 40, 50-foot wide ramps 12 feet high on a residential street. It does very little. And I have to agree with the point that it's unfortunate maybe that we have to put public safety versus historic preservation. I also agree that they should work together somehow. So.
Ray, did you have anything else you wanted to add? No. Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I could just chime in, just because this came up during the board's discussion. The board's not voting today on the location or the siting. You're, for all intents and purposes, you're considering this as you would any other application, applying the review criteria. The only difference being that on demolition, your role is advisory.
Mitch?
Yeah, and I've mentioned this before. In an ideal world, or let me step back for a moment. I served on this board from 2001 to 2007, and there was fire station number 4 up on 69th Street that consisted at the time of a historic structure. And there was a fight. And eventually the building came down and the trailers came in and the new facility was built at that site. And in a perfect world, the same thing would happen at 10th and Jefferson, where Fire Station 1 exists today. Keep in mind, we are likely, or one building, assuming everything goes forward, one building, one Lapidus building is going to be vacated. It's a firehouse. It was built as a firehouse. How do you adaptively reuse that? And the South Shore Community Center will be coming down. So just wanted to throw that out there for perspective.
Thank you, Mitch. So I just want to say that having followed this the entire time, I just kind of understand the complexity of the winds that have been impacting this that are way outside the purview of this board, and that this board has a certain role to play, but we also have a context in which we work in, and having voted for this the first time, and then having voted to push for to make this building a designated historic site, having lived in one of Lapidus's buildings from this period and very close by, and it was so I kind of see how these things work, but I think, as everybody here is trying to express, we don't work in a historic preservation context that's clear, crystal clear, and that has direct imperatives. And so I hope that each of you vote the way you feel, taking into consideration all the contexts. This is especially rich context for Mitch, a longtime historic preservationist, as well as a person who's responsible for the mural. And with that, I think that we should kind of draw this conversation to a close. Okay, you have two. And I would draw this conversation to a close, but obviously my colleagues wish to continue it, so
No,
please
no, just in,
take it
no, I'd
away.
like to make a motion. And back in 2022, I made the motion that we accept the condition of appropriateness with conditions, and I would like to make the same motion again today.
I'll second
Before we
that.
make before we vote on the motion, I just want to clarify, I was asked to take a look at the conditions that were in place regarding the mural. Those were the details regarding the final installation, as well as the lighting. Both of those conditions have been incorporated into this order. And then did you want to, Ray, add another condition regarding having a plaque regarding, for the Apollo mural as well?
Yes.
We can add that.
And I'll support that.
Okay. Actually, Nick suggests we start with the demolition advisory recommendation first. So does someone make a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
And I'll do a roll call on this. This would be for the advisory recommendation to the commission in support of the demolition.
And you need 4 votes.
We need, well, it's advisory, so majority, yes.
Exactly.
So this would be a recommendation to the commission in support of the demolition. Mr. Breslin?
Yes.
Ms. Camargo? Okay.
I'm still thinking.
Ms. Lovell?
Yes.
Mr. Novick?
Count me as a no.
Mr. Hollingworth?
No.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Ms. Camargo?
No.
So that's a tie. So it's,
So in the event of a tie, the motion fails. That would also, that generally we would consider that as a negative. So that would be transmitted to the city commission as an unfavorable recommendation.
Nick?
It's just a recommendation, so.
Correct.
It's just a recommendation, which of course could be overridden. The question is, will it cause delay? It shouldn't.
Well, I think the certificate of appropriateness for demolition can only be approved by the city commission anyway. So by transmitting a recommendation today, you put the commission in a posture to vote up or down on the C of A for demolition. Just because you have recommended against issuance of the C of A for demolition, that I don't think that bears on your vote on the certificate of appropriateness for the new construction. As unusual as that sounds, because your role in reviewing demolition is only advisory.
Yeah.
So,
It's sort of like the optics of that. Okay, let them have it, and that'll be done relatively soon, perhaps at their next meeting.
I don't know that it could be done at the next meeting because of the noticing requirements,
Yes,
but
yeah.
it could be done at the first available
All right.
city commission meeting.
I think that's great.
I believe at one point in time, wasn't it like slated for demolition and the trucks were like there ready to demolish it and then the commission stopped it? So, I mean, I don't know how all this works.
I can't imagine them flip-flopping again.
Lindsay?
Regardless of how our vote went today, it would still have to go before the next available city commission meeting, correct? Regardless?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know that our vote yes or no or 50-50 makes a difference.
Yeah, but they're never going to know 50-50. They're going to know no, correct?
we're going to include the vote of the board members, and it's going to be 3-3 with the outcome that it's an unfavorable recommendation for demolition.
Okay.
So we'll go back now to the
Yes.
first motion regarding the C of A for the new construction.
I'd make that motion.
Well, I think Mr. President already made the motion.
Yeah.
Right, so, and that will include the additional plaque regarding, for the Apollo mural, and the conditions already drafted in the staff report.
I'll second that.
No,
It was already
seconded.
It was already,
All right,
it was
okay.
already done, yes.
I apologize.
So we'll go through, Mr. Breslin made the motion, seconded by Ms. Lovell. This would be in favor of the C of A for new construction. Mr. Novick,
Yes.
Mr. Hollingworth,
Yes.
Ms. Lovell,
Yes.
Mr. Breslin,
Yes.
Ms. Camargo,
Yes.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously, 6-0.
I'm sorry, can you explain to me the rationale of approving a building to be built in a site where there is already an existing building that we did not approve the demolition?
And that's a good question. Under normal circumstances, on privately owned property, that would not be possible, but because on property owned by the city, the HPB's role is advisory with regard to demolition, you know, your approval of the certificate of appropriateness for the new construction today is essentially conditioned on the city commission approving the C of A for demolition.
Okay, that concludes the application for the fire station. Is the applicant here for 1835 Michigan Avenue? This is HPB 25-0670. Are you here for this application? So as nobody's here for this application for 1835 Michigan Avenue, this is the application for a seawall height variance. I believe it's in the best interest of the board just to continue the application versus having a discussion here today when the applicant's not present. So I would recommend that the board.
I'll move to continue it.
Second?
Is there a second to continue?
I'll second.
Second by Mitch. This will be continuation to the March meeting date, March 17th. All in favor?
Aye.
So that's been continued to the March 17th meeting date. We have one discussion item on the agenda today. Let me just tee that up. So this is a discussion on a plaque program for historically designated single-family homes and public buildings within the city. So in our memo, for comparison purposes, the city of Coral Gables currently provides a small ceramic plaque at no cost to owners of properties designated as historic landmarks. This approach of using a standard design and cost-effective material allows multiple plaques to be produced simultaneously and minimizing cost. For Miami Beach, this approach is contemplated to ensure efficiency and cost-effectiveness, and this would basically apply to the eligible properties, which are a total of 31 single-family homes and 5 individually designated historic public buildings. We provided a diagram or indication of the two proposed designs. One is for historic homes, and then one is for historic structures. Together, the city anticipates that we could generate these 36 plaques at a cost of less than $1,000. So this discussion is just for recommendation to the city commission in support of this program or not. And we're asking the board to vote in favorable of this plaque program.
I'm sorry, Michael. Did you say each of these, what do you call them?
31 homes.
Plaques are going to cost $1,000?
No, the total is $1,000.
For what, to apply to get one?
No, the total is $1,000 for their construction.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
understand.
It'd be no cost to the homeowners.
All right, what about for buildings that are in historic districts and a property owner's proud of their building and they should want such a plaque? Is that something that?
Yeah, that's a different process. I mean, the city commission, the Historic Preservation Board has in the past developed designs for plaques, and oftentimes when an application comes before the board, we require, historic plaques, and they use that sort of standard. So that's separate and apart from this process. This is only for individually designated
Gotcha.
single-family homes.
Yeah, all right.
And these are homes that are designated outside of the historic districts.
So you
It
want?
seems like there's no negative really regarding this, and the city commission is in support of this effort at minimal cost.
And who will be applying or installing these plaques?
It'll be coordinated with, well, that's a good question, who's installing? I think it's a matter of probably providing it to the homeowner think we indicated in our memo here, we require coordination between the parking department's manufacturing facility, as well as, let's see,
You would want this installed rather than just hand it over. If you handed me this, I'd use it as a fancy
I'm not sure
tray.
the logistic of who's going to be installing it or how it's going to be installed, and
Yeah.
it's something that I think we're just weighing in on terms of the overall design, and if the board supports the program.
It says that the material is ceramic, so it's like a tile kind?
No, this was, the Coral Gables program includes a ceramic plaque.
This one is supposed to be?
Plastic.
Probably since it's produced by the city's parking department's manufacturing facility.
Then it will be metal? Or it just,
I mean, you could recommend that it be more permanent.
oh, so there is no
I don't know if the
suggested.
material specified. It seems like for the cost of less than $1,000, it seems like it can't be much more than plastic for that.
Yeah,
price.
it's certainly not going to be brass.
Right. But if you want to suggest that it be made of a metallic material, more permanent nature.
At $27 a piece.
I'm surprised they can't even do that.
So what do you need from us, Michael?
Just a recommendation and support.
I would
With any
like to
sort of
see what one
modification.
of these things look like. Should we continue this and maybe you bring us, staff brings us one just to see and touch and understand?
Can you support a further investigation of the topic? Because I don't think anybody here is opposed to this. So it's not like
Yeah.
everybody's going to say no, but it's just like you're not sure what you're approving. So maybe more information. Maybe you don't really continue.
It's hard to say what we're recommending.
Yeah, but we'd like to know more.
Okay. So you want to continue this to the next month's meeting?
Yeah, so I mean, I like the idea, but I mean, I'd like to know how nicely or how tacky they may be, like the material. I'm sorry for my poor language, how thick they will be, if they are embossed or not. I mean, so I think if you could have more detail, would be great.
Yeah, I think to that end, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. So that would be the question. And the concept, I like the idea of, but if it's not something that they're going to want to install in their home, then why would we do it?
Understood. Makes sense. We'll put this on the agenda for next month's meeting.
Good point.
There's also, also, is it a thin plastic, or is it a poured resin? I think a poured resin properly treated, you would not know is plastic. If you're gonna mold a plastic cover, that would just, I think would be contrary to the whole idea of historic preservation.
Remember, this is our parking sign department, so it's not going to be.
We can look to see what they can actually produce.
You could
and
do
we'll
a
come back
poured
and do that.
resin one probably for not much
absolutely.
different. Is it to mold, you just keep pouring them in and paint?
But we
By
don't
touching
have-
it, you wouldn't know it was plastic.
Yeah, but we don't have signs with raised lettering in this city. Yeah.
At least they're all consistent. There's no specifics for the property or address, so it's a consistent design that's just repeated.
It likely could be a plastic disc with vinyl lettering. You know, fancy.
We'll come back
One would
with
hope
more
not.
details on that. And then before we conclude, I would just want to say, this is John Stewart's last meeting. I just want to thank him for his.
Wait. We need him next month because we're going to have a vote, or else we'll be in a.
I know. Well,
it's my understanding he could remain serving.
No, his term ended last year. He did not wish to seek reappointment. He can serve through the month of February.
Right, it's up to 60 days.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was March.
Yeah.
It
Unfortunately.
may have been at one time March.
So I just want to thank John for his dedication and service for his many years on the board here.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor to serve with you all, and I've learned so much every time we go through these processes together. And I wish you all the best untangling and keeping preservation alive, untangling the work. Thank you.
Let's have a big hand for John.
Yeah, now you can all. Thank you. And now you can all call me.
John, have you made recommendations for your successor?
He has, yes.
Okay, good. I was like, do we have somebody lined up?
Yes, I have. Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
So that will conclude the meeting, and the next meeting is on March 17th, right?
What, could I ask, when is the Fontainebleau coming back? I couldn't understand the contra.
No, Fontainebleau's not.
So the deferral allows them to come back at a future date, up to 1 year
I mean,
from
they'll come
today's
back.
date.
So we have no idea when they'd be back?
Correct.
Okay, I thought I heard June and I didn't know where that
It
came
has
from.
not been set yet.
Okay,
The earliest.
okay, thank you.
With that, that concludes the meeting.
What date was that again? 10th? On March meeting?